Now, at this point, the timeline is a little confusing, so we're pretty sure it takes place in 87. Just a few years before the first game. Probably about 5 or 6 years. We know for a couple different reasons. I won't get into too much detail. The minimum wage works out. Also, phone guy in FNAF 1 makes it sound like, in FNAF 1, you're taking over for phone guy. He was working the night shift. And he makes it sound like he was working the night shift for several years, and you're taking over for him. And then in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, he tells you that he's going to take over the night shift for you. It's one of the reasons why we know FNAF 2 takes place before FNAF 1. So in the FNAF 2, phone guy's like, hey, I'll be the night shift person. I'm taking over for you. Okay. FNAF 1, phone guy is having you as a replacement, and he's worked the night shift for several years now. Okay. So, it's a few years, but they didn't say 15 years or anything. A few years difference. So FNAF 1 and FNAF 2 are pretty easy to place. That's not that hard. FNAF 3 takes place in the future, obviously. And exactly how far in the future doesn't make that too much of a difference, lore-wise, because it takes place so far apart from all the other games, the exact year doesn't matter too much. But the year, basically, Five Nights at Freddy's, the Freddy Fazbear pizza chain has gone out of business, long since gone out of business. Gone out of business long enough that it's kind of had its own urban legend, rumor mill. A lot of the events of, Five Nights at Freddy's 1 and 2 have passed on into legend. And people are going to open a horror attraction based on Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. And this just takes place about 30 years in the future. Now, 30 years from 87, 30 years from 93. It takes place certainly farther away than all the other games, and several decades removed from the other games. That's the main point. The game itself takes place so far into the future, but the mini-game flashbacks take place sometime earlier, a good while earlier. Now, FNAF 4 is a very interesting case because we still don't really know when that happens. Strongly suggests 83, due to the TV displaying 83, by the Easter eggs. It could very well be 83. Although it's still kind of unconfirmed. It's still kind of an open question, to be honest. It's still an open question, but we're pretty sure 83. We're pretty sure that the Five Nights at Freddy's 4 takes place before Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which takes place before Five Nights at Freddy's 1. So far we have FNAF 4, FNAF 2, FNAF 1, FNAF 3. Okay. Now, the exact year doesn't really matter too much most of the time. It's more just place them in the right order. But 83 kind of makes sense. 87 makes sense. And like I said, for the first game, 93-ish. And the final game is, like I said, the final game of the original trilogy, FNAF 3, is, just sometime in the future-ish. Although by our time, it's pretty close to it. It's not that far in the future to us. But, for the time, Fazbear closed, it's been about 30 years, so there you go for that. Okay, so that's what we have. Now, sister location's even harder to pin down because there's not any definite clue about when this takes place. I mean, there's no paycheck at the end giving you, minimum wage or anything. Before, with paychecks in Five Nights at Freddy's 1 and 2, people were actually able to calculate minimum wage at the time. They're actually able to say what's the normal minimum wage, and and they look at this and go, okay, if you were working, midnight to 6, 5 days a week, okay, that's, 30 hours. Okay, so so what point in time would 30 hours minimum wage be this amount? So that's how they're pretty sure in the 4 there's no paycheck. You don't work as a security guard. So there's no paycheck at the end. But you do have the 1983 flash on the television screen. So a lot of people take that kind of to be the Easter egg that's telling you, hey, there's no paycheck, so this is your clue instead, telling you what's going on with the pay and everything. Now, with system location, though, there's no paycheck, and especially it's confusing because there's no paycheck, there's no clear indication, there's no 83, 85, 91, 2007, there's nothing indicating really what's going on. It's not clear at all. So we're kind of left to guesstimate. And of all the ones, I say system location is the one most up in the air. Because basically 1 and 2 have a very direct, easy to figure out thing. I mean, first of all, we know for sure that FNAF 1 takes place after FNAF 2. FNAF 2 is a prequel. That's been pretty much confirmed every which way to Sunday. Game Theory did a big theory on that, and that was part of their theory, and Scott Cawthon, the creator of the game, has actually confirmed that pretty much the Game theory on that was almost completely correct. I mean, they technically didn't specifically single out that aspect of the theory, but seems like that's more or less confirmed. The paycheck checks out, and it's definitely meant to take place before FNAF 1, for sure. No one questions that. 2, FNAF 1, FNAF 3, pretty much for sure. And FNAF 4 before FNAF 2, we're pretty sure on that. Sister location, can go several places within that. Really, it all depends on what you want to do. It's the most flexible. The animatronics are much more advanced looking, and they also function more advanced. They have speakers, they can actually speak. The AI is way more advanced, so you would be tempted to be like, okay, this takes place in the future, but we've already seen that's not the case, because with the Friday Nights at Freddy's 2, which at first everyone just assumed was a sequel because nothing indicated otherwise. Running up to its release, nothing was released indicating anything other than was a sequel taking place. You know, when you have a sequel to a game, you assume it's also a sequel to a story, less specifically to otherwise. And you, at the beginning of the game, introduce these new toy animatronics that are newer and shinier looking, and apparently have advanced facial recognition and like all this advanced electronics and stuff. They're way more advanced than the old ones, and the old ones are just being used for parts, the old ones are all littered and everything. So everyone just assumed, oh yeah, this is it. This is, these toy animatronics are the new generation, But then at the very end of the game, it's like, psych, no, actually, this takes place before FNAF 1, and the toy animatronics get scrapped, and the old animatronics get rebuilt. So by the time you play Five Nights at Freddy's 1, the toy animatronics have come and gone, and the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 animatronics have already been around for a while and get rebuilt. So, okay. So appearances can be deceiving in that regard. Also, there's the simple fact that the animatronics are way too advanced, period. Just for real life. I mean, you have animatronics walking around in the 70s. A lot of people don't realize that animatronics do not walk around. They're bolted to the floor. They go to Chuck E. Cheese, whatever, they're bolted to the stage. They're not free roam anything. I mean, animatronics are not full-fledged robots. They're basically just robot puppets, like hand puppets, only have gears moving them rather than a hand. You did not walk around or anything. That's very important to understand. Only just now today, in 2016, almost 2017, we're barely developing robots that kind of, sort of move. So the fact that, in the 70s and the early 80s, you have animatronics walking around, or even in FNAF 2, you have animatronics with, advanced facial features, like, okay. So we basically already established the Five Nights at Freddy's universe has far more advanced electronics than normal. Their robotics are far more advanced. So they actually have robots. Their animatronics are full-fledged robots walking around. Not just a bunch of wires coming out of the ground, operating a little puppet suit, but they're full-fledged robots. And so that means you can't quite say, oh, this technology is really advanced, it must take place later than this time. Because in the world of Five Nights at Freddy's, the animatronics is way more advanced, period. They had, in the 70s and the early 80s, they had more advanced robotics than we have today in 2016. So it makes it hard to tell. You can't simply say, well, the sister location animatronics seem more advanced technology. The only clue we have is it does talk about how sister location is a rival, they are a rival of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. They talk about Freddy Fazbear's Pizza going out of business. Now, when Freddy Fazbear's Pizza went out of business, the stage was set for a new competitor. And this is, Sister Baby's, pizza. And they are the new competitor. This means that it must be taking place after Fazbear Entertainment went out of business. But even that can be kind of tricky because it's not 100% clear if they mean the entire company went out of business or just a location closed. Although probably it doesn't mean the entire company because if McDonald's closed a couple stores, you don't talk like they went out of business. I mean, Burger King wouldn't talk like, well, since McDonald's went out of business now, the stage is set for Burger King. Seize control of the fast food industry. You wouldn't say that if McDonald's is still around, they just closed down a couple locations here or there. So it's strongly implied this is after, Freddy Fazbear Pizza is closed for the final time. They had, they opened, they closed, and a grand reopening, immediately closed after that, they reopened an old location, all different stuff, but children keep on getting murdered, things keep on going wrong, the animatronics keep on going haywire, so they keep on closing, open and close, open and close, open and close, and eventually they just closed down completely. When the name Sister Location was first put out there, a lot of people said, oh, Sister Location, this must be like a different division of the same company. That's what a Sister Location normally is, like if you're working at McDonald's and your boss talks about the sister location, you usually talk about a different franchise of McDonald's or another company owned by the same people. So like Pizza Hut and Taco Bell are owned by the same people. So you're like, okay, this might just be a different branch of Freddy Fazbear Pizza, but then at the very beginning of the game, you're basically told, no, when Freddy Fazbear went out of business, the stage was set for, Circus Baby's Pizzeria to step in. It makes it sound like they're different companies altogether, even rival companies. The sister and sister location seems to be referring to the fact that someone's sister is actually there to be. It sounds like they're saying Freddy Fazbear Pizza is gone. Now, Freddy Fazbear Pizza was around at least up to like 93 or so, but they were pretty much on the last leg. I mean, if you look at the situation in FNAF 1, they had them to close and reopen several times. The health department shut them down several times. You had the missing kids incident. Kids were disappeared and murdered at several different locations. A bunch of crazy stuff went down. Really kind of hurts the brand, as you can imagine. And this is an old location basically being reopened after the failure of FNAF 2. It had a huge, brand new location, really big, and now this falls apart. Then they at the end of FNAF 2, they even say they're going to try and reopen somewhere else, maybe a smaller, less grand, less ambitious place. So FNAF 1, it takes place in a much smaller pizzeria. It's a much smaller, scaled-down pizzeria. You don't have many animatronics. You don't have much stuff going on in FNAF 2. You already get the sense they're like a company on the run. Their company's had a lot of problems already. This is kind of last hurrah, so to speak. So they're already on their last leg. Early 90s, they're on their last leg. Plus, in real life, that's when really arcades started falling apart anyway. Like real life, Showbiz Pizza, Chuck E. Cheese, stuff like that. Arcades really started to be diminished by the early 90s anyway. As consoles became more powerful, you could just play all these video games at home. FNAF 1, this seems like kind of a last chance. They're opening up a new restaurant. They're basically reopening an old restaurant. It was left to rot. They're reopening it. They rebuilt the old animatronics and scrapped the new animatronics. They must have spent so much money on all this stuff. They're falling apart. They're hemorrhaging money. Lifeguards keep on getting killed. Children keep on getting killed. After the events of Five Nights at Freddy's 1, when once again that's a failure, and the restaurant gets closed down again, you can imagine that was just finished the company. Company's over. So the company must go out of business. 93, 94, not too long after that, the latest. Now, a lot of theorists have kind of just assumed Sister Location is the first game in the series, or takes place at the same time as, or right after FNAF 4. They do have really flimsy evidence. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, they could be right. I'm not saying I know for sure. But it just seems weird for several reasons. I mean, basically, most of the evidence rests on Mangle. Mangle is a weird character, similar to Foxy from FNAF 2. Mangle looks like Foxy, only white with red dots on the cheek, kind of a clown version of Foxy. Instead of Foxy the Pirate, almost like Foxy the Clown. Only Mangle's all broken up, which is why I call it Mangle. It's all mangled, disjointed, heads falling off. It's crazy looking monstrosity. But it's only mysterious, because why is it so mangled up? None of the other animatronics are so mangled up. Is this supposed to be Toy Foxy? It didn't exactly look like Toy Foxy, because look at Toy Bonnie, Toy Freddy, Toy Chica. They looked, pretty much similar to their original counterparts. Look at Toy Bonnie to regular Bonnie from FNAF 1. So if it's Secerets Phrase 2, you have Toy Bonnie and you have original Bonnie. The original Bonnie is pretty big and hefty. Toy Bonnie is much smaller, skinnier, streamlined, much more plasticky looking. Toy Freddy is also a bit smaller. It looks like plastic. Regular Freddy looks like fur, like a fake fur, but fur, like it's furry, touches with a carpet, okay, actually looks like older style. Toy Freddy looks all plasticky, but none of them are white. Toy Bonnie is not white with red cheeks. Toy Freddy's not white with red cheeks. So Mangle is always kind of well, is Mangle just Toy Foxy? Like a broken Toy Foxy? Or is there a difference here? Because the confusing thing is with Sister Location, so that's the Funtime versions. Okay, so that means Mangle wasn't the Toy Foxy. Mangle was the Funtime Foxy. Okay, because now we have Funtime Freddy. We see the Funtime Freddy is white with red cheeks. Okay, and Mangle looks like Foxy with white with red cheeks. Kind of a clown theme going on. Okay, there you go. That makes sense. Okay. There's only a few problems, though. The Circus Baby Gang, they're much larger than the regular animatronics. Their endoskeletons look very different and very distinct. The problem is that their faces can open up. Baby, Ballora, Funtime Foxy, Funtime Freddy, they have multiple faceplates. And they open up, their face can open up and their face can move and stuff. Mangle doesn't have that. Also, besides that, Mangle's endoskeleton is like a regular endoskeleton. The endoskeletons for FNAF 1, 2, 3, and 4, the old animatronics, are much skinnier. They're more like skeletons. The animatronics seem big, that's mainly their costume. The actual endosskeleton is pretty small. So it works almost like a Terminator, like a big, bulky Arnold Schwarzenegger, but underneath it's more of a thin, skeleton-looking thing. So, you see the endoskeletons are actually pretty small. In Sister Location, they're much bigger. The animatronics are larger overall, and their endoskeletons are much larger and also thicker. They're much thicker with much more solid. The other endoskeletons were more skeleton-y with, you can see inside them, there are a lot of gaps and stuff, look more like an actual literal skeleton. Well, the endoskeletons on the Sister Location animatronics are much bigger and bulkier, and much fuller and solid. There's not a bunch of holes you can see through and stuff. They almost look just like It's almost like the difference between like having just a skeleton versus having a skeleton and the organs and the muscles just not having the skin on. The endoskeletons for sister locations are almost the same size as the entire animatronics and the other animatronics. Now, Mangle does not seem to be unusually big in Fnaf 2. Nor does Mangle have the faceplates opening up, nor does Mangle have the right endoskeleton either. So it's really not clear if Mangle is in fact Funtime Foxy. Especially because why Funtime Foxy? Like, you have Funtime Foxy, Funtime Freddy. Well, where's Funtime Freddy? He did make an appearance in FNAF 2. It's interesting. I can see why people think that, but it's really not strong enough to base your entire theory around, like, oh, sister location must happen earlier. Especially since, in the beginning of sister location, they talk about since Freddy Fazbear went out of business. Where sister location fits in is kind of unclear. Especially because the animatronics from Five Nights at Freddy's sister location seem to be genuinely new designs. They are much bigger, they're designed to kidnap children, because we know the Golden Freddy, Golden Bonnie weren't like that. We know the original Five Nights at Freddy's 1 gang didn't have large endoskeletons like that. So the whole idea of larger endoskeletons so they can capture children and hold the children within the endoskeleton, which the schematics in sister location clearly show, and that's the case. That's what they're designed for, is a cavity inside them to stuff children, and that's why they're larger. They're larger, and the endoskeleton is larger to accommodate that. If you look at the old endoskeletons, they weren't very big. I mean, the animatronics in general, complete, were probably larger than the average person. Freddy Fazbear and Foxy, all of them, they seem larger than a regular person, but their endoskeleton was much smaller and skinnier. So, again, imagine like a Terminator, once its skin is blown away. It's a robot skeleton. It's not big enough to really fit a person inside. Arnold Schwarzenegger might be big and bulky, but the actual Terminator robot inside is relatively skinny and streamlined. So the original animatronics were not designed that way. That means there must have been animatronics built and made. They were used for a while. And then, after a while, they started making new animatronics that were bigger and bulkier that could be used to kidnap children. That's another reason why I'm thinking sister location takes place later. Also the fact that, several things had already occurred for the fact to go out of business. The one girl had to be kidnapped/killed by Baby in the ice cream minigame cutscene. And basically, that had to have occurred, and then somebody had to figure out there were ghosts and ghosts wanting the machines, and a lot of stuff had to happen. This really doesn't make sense to me like the first game chronologically. It just doesn't make sense. A bunch of stuff had to have gone down.